All right, hey guys, continuing to look at some of the problems that you guys sent me, the ones that you guys had some issues with. Again, keep checking those answers. All I'm doing when I'm checking the homework, just like I do in class, is check completion. So if you are not getting the answers that I'm getting, or there's some that you're not understanding, I'm counting on you guys to be big boys and girls and let me know the issues you're having there. So if I don't hear from you, I'm assuming you're getting it okay. So the one we're looking at today is 51 on section 9.4. I think this had to do with penguins jumping out of the water, and how long are they out of the water? All right, let's take a look at that one. If you saw my last video, you got introduced to my cat Bailey. I don't have a penguin, so I can't introduce my penguin to you because he doesn't exist anymore. I don't want to talk about it. So in 50, I'm sorry, it's not 51, it's 53. I forgot to change that from the last video. So 53 is the one we're looking at here. I'm talking about the penguin. So it says a penguin jumps out of the water. This act is called porpoising. So the height is given by this function here, a little bit different from our vertical motion model. And they say find the zeros of this function. All right. So this, again, what this function gives me, what this equation gives me is how high this penguin is at any point in time. All right. If I want to know how far out of the water is this penguin going to be at half a second, I fill 1/2 in for t. That's my input. The output that gives me would be my height. But that's not what we're doing here. They ask us to find the zeros of this, and the zeros are simply when this thing will equal 0. When will it equal 0? So again, I've got it set equal to 0. I'm good to go, and that's 4 5/10, not 45, not coming out real clear there. So I've got it equal to 0. The next thing I want to do is factor. So again, if I look at -16 and 4.5, I don't see any common factors there. But I look at my variables. I got a t squared and a t. I can factor out a t. And again, when I say factor, it's kind of that idea of undistributing. So if I factor out a t times what gives me -16t squared. That would be -16t. And then t times what would give me 4 5/10 t. Well, that's 4 5/10. All right. So now I've got it factored. I've got it set equal to 0. I'm ready to use that zero product property, which simply says if I multiply two things and get 0, one of those two things has to be 0. So either t equals 0 or -16t plus 4 5/10 equals 0. This one already solved. All right, I've got t by itself. Now we're looking at, when we get to this two-step equation or one-step equation, that's where we're looking at the normal solving equation, get t by itself by doing the opposite and doing it to both sides. So here I've got it's a two-step. So I subtract 4 5/10 on both sides. So I get -16t equals -4 5/10. I do addition and subtraction first. Now I'm going to do multiplication and division. So I divide both sides by -16. And t is, and I have to grab my calculator here. So if I do -4 5/10 divided by -16, I get 0.28125. So that might not have been exactly what I shared with you. In the answer documents, looked like there was some rounding there on that one. But these are the exact zeros of this thing. And then it does say interpret what this means. What do these numbers mean? And again, this is where the height was 0. We're talking about penguins jumping out of the water. So this one, when the height is 0, this is when it leaves the water. All right. And here is where it comes back into the water. So it's out of the water only that's just a little bit over 1/4 of a second. So it's not out of the water too long. All right, but these represent the 2 times where this penguin is right at the water level. All right, when it leaves and then when it comes back in. All right, so that's 53 on section 9.4. Hopefully that helps those of you that had questions on that. Again, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Got this brand new whiteboard. I'd love to use it. So hopefully that helps, and we'll talk to you guys later.